Good day, gentlemen. I wanted to come out here again and film another one of these videos for you. And this video, man, is one that I just wish I had 5.5 years ago when I got into my relationship. Because at the end of the day, feeling insecure in your relationship, feeling insecure when you're around your girl, it really destroys a lot of the fun and the enjoyment and the fulfillment that you could have with her, not just for yourself, but also for her. Right? Of course, you can't really enjoy the time that you spend with her. You can't enjoy the conversations, you can't enjoy the dates, you can't enjoy sex because you're just insecure, you're overthinking. And she, of course, also notices that intuitively. And what happens if we're around insecure people? We become insecure ourselves and we don't really enjoy that time we spend with those people, right? So I want to give you quite a lot of advice today. I'm going to talk about day-to-day, just stuff that happens that you can do something about. We'll talk about sex because it's a crucial part of a crucial piece of the puzzle here, and I'll share with you some actionable steps and some mindsets that you can incorporate to really tackle this issue. Because because at the end of the day, man, 5.5 years ago I had just gone through 7 years of bullying. When I got together with my girl, I was skinny, I was insecure, I was shy. And that translated into our relationship as well, right? I didn't feel comfortable around her, if I'm being completely honest. Of course, like, I felt good and I felt loved and all that stuff, but I didn't really feel comfortable. And now, 5.5 years later, man, I feel fucking excellent when I'm around my girl. I don't overthink a lot. I don't think about all the things that I might say, like, oh, she said this, how can I respond? Oh, let me look at my posture, let me look at the pitch of my voice or whatever, all that bullshit. And during sex, same thing, right? At the end of the day, we might think that the longer we are with a girl, the more comfortable we will get with her automatically. Unfortunately, that is not always the case, and for most men it actually isn't. Because the thing is this, you can either, the longer you're in a relationship, become that deep, free lover, or you can become the nice guy, the simp in a way. Not necessarily the simp, but the guy who's insecure and who's very nice and who's very gentle and all that kind of stuff, but you kind of lose yourself and you also lose her in that. I'm not a red pill guy, very much against the red pill if I'm being completely honest, and I'll talk negatively about the red pill in this video actually. But what you need to understand is that guy who becomes that free and deep lover, he just does things completely different than the other guys, and he thinks differently as well. Now, why do some men, or most men, become more insecure the longer they are in that relationship? Like, after years, they're still overthinking every single action they're doing with their girl, and they can't enjoy the time they spend with her because they're just overthinking constantly. Like, it's stressful to spend time with her almost, right? The thing is this, I learned this recently from a book called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Has nothing to do with relationships, but that whole book explains the force that he calls resistance. And this resistance has a lot to do with relationships, because at the end of the day, that resistance is what gets us to do things that we know we shouldn't do and gets us to not do the things that we know we should do. And that very much is important for relationships. You know that you shouldn't overthink during sex, but you still do. You know you shouldn't overthink when you have a conversation with her, but you still do. And so this resistance, this is what Steven Pressfield says in the book, is it becomes a lot stronger the higher the stakes are. So the longer you've been dating a girl, the deeper you've gone with her, and the more invested you are into that relationship, and the more you did invest into that relationship generally, right, the more insecure you become, because the stakes are higher, there's more to lose. And at the end of the day, where does resistance or insecurity come from? From fear, right? And this is also something that Steven Pressfield says in that book, is what we fear here is fear of rejection. And fear of rejection isn't just psychological, but biological. It's built into our genes. Because at the end of the day, man, if one of our ancestors got rejected by his tribe, what happened? Well, that 99.9% chance of death. If he gets kicked out of the tribe, Our ancestors weren't made to live alone. They were meant to live in a tribe, right? Same still goes for today, but at the end of the day, today, if we get rejected by someone, that doesn't mean that we're gonna die. It feels like we're dying because that still biologically is built into us, but we're not dying actually. We can live quite comfortably. I'm not saying happily, but comfortably on our own, without a partner, without friends, without family. There are people who do that, and I'm not saying they're happy because I don't think they are, but it works for them in a way, right? The thing is, if it doesn't actually cause death to get rejected, then what Steven Pressfield says is, just act in spite of that fear. Just act in spite of feeling that fear of, what if she doesn't like my sexual performance? Just act despite of that fear. What if she doesn't like my opinion on this topic? Just act despite of this fear. Now, before I give you more advice on resistance and how to get rid of it, I want to quickly say that if you right now are insecure in your relationship and you can't really, it keeps you from going deeper into that relationship and you feel like there's something missing, right? You can't really enjoy that relationship as much as you would want to, and you also feel like your girl feels the same way. She's missing something, and you want to do something about that. Then what you can do is you can book a free discovery call with me so we can figure out how I can help you. But what I wanted to say here as well is this fear of rejection. That's the reason why so many men struggle with premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction. And I did as well in the past. The thing is this, man. What does overthinking, insecurity lead to? It leads to tension in the mind. And what does tension in the mind lead to? Tension in the body. And what does tension in the body, specifically in the pelvic floor muscles, lead to? Well, if you have too much tension there, you sometimes can't get it up, or often can't get it up, or you can get it up, but then you ejaculate very, very quickly because it's just the muscles are too tense and it's just too much tension, too much contraction building up too quickly, right? And the thing here is this, again, as soon as you're able to just act despite of that fear, just see the fear, because that fear most likely won't go away, but just act despite of that fear and just do what you actually want to do, then that will go away. The thing is this, bro, I struggled with this as well because especially at the start of my relationship, I felt like there was so much on the line. This is like the first girl that actually wanted to date me and all that stuff, right? And now 5.5 years later, I'm like, why the fuck was I so nervous, right? Like, why? There was nothing on the line. Even if she would have broken up with you because you didn't perform sexually, because you've never had sex before, like, what would have happened? Well, that wouldn't be a good girl to be around anyway, right? Like, I should have broken up with her then, right? And all this stuff that people tell you nowadays, especially those red pill guys who tell you, she's gonna break up with you if you can't fulfill this, and she's gonna do this and this and this, and she's gonna cheat on you. Like, brother, if she cheats on you because you make some mistake, then you shouldn't be with that woman anyway. Let's be fucking honest here. That's not a moral woman then. If she says, you know what, like, I'm struggling with this and you're not fulfilling this and all that, and like thinking of breaking up, that's okay, but like, if she cheats on you, like, brother, you shouldn't be with this woman anyway. And by the way, most women won't do that. As soon as you're a decent guy, the reason why all these red pill guys tell you this is because they're cheaters. They're gonna cheat on every single woman they meet. They're not monogamous, but then they want a monogamous woman around them, which, all that kind of stuff, right? Female nature and stuff, and like, honestly, at the end of the day, you get what you give. Universal law, you get what you give. And if these guys can't become a guy and aren't a guy who can attract a good woman who doesn't cheat on them, well then, man, that's not the problem of the woman, and that doesn't mean that all women suddenly are bad. That just means that specific guy isn't someone who attracts a good woman. At the end of the day, though, what I wanted to say here as well is I have never hooked up with a random girl because I just don't feel like that's anything to pursue. I don't think that gives anything to me, at least right now. That's how I feel. Not for religious reasons, just my values. But the thing is this, I've talked to some friends who have done it, and they all said that immediately alleviates all the pressure. Because you would think, right, this is kind of exciting, like a one-night stand with a random girl, like you might get a lot more excited about that, and then you have a lot more anxiety about, like, performance anxiety, right? At the end of the day though, the exact opposite is mostly true for most men, because with that random girl, you don't care about that woman. You don't care about her. There is no future anyway, so you don't really care about how you perform, and thus you perform way better. With a long-time girlfriend, you're like, ah man, like I want to satisfy her. I want to make her feel desired. I want to make her feel loved. I want her to experience this deep sexual union, right? And that is often the thing that exactly like shoots you in the foot at the end of the day. Now, one key mindset that has helped me with this is a mindset that I've gotten from a friend and mentor of mine. He also has a YouTube channel. It's called The Conscious Man. Does some awesome stuff on there. And he told me this, and he also made a video on this as well. He said, detach from the outcome. Detach from the outcome. What he means by this is, once you don't care about the result anymore, and you simply only focus on the action, then you'll actually do a way better action, and then the results will be way better in the end. What he said, what the specific example he gave me was, if he makes a YouTube video, he just makes it as good as possible, makes the title as good as possible, thumbnail as good as possible, and then he puts it out. And if it performs great, cool, he'll just make the next video a bit better. If it performs poorly, cool, he'll just make the next video a bit better. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how that video performs. He doesn't check the analytics every 2 hours to see, oh, is it already making views? Is it already going viral? Oh no, it's tanking, it's blah, blah, blah. Same exact thing is true for your relationship. As soon as you can detach from the outcome, you can really make a lot of progress. You know, of course, when you're having sex with your girl and you kind of fuck up, right? You can't not really do what she wants to do, and she's not really satisfied, and you can see that, like, maybe she's nice about it, but you can't see that she's not really satisfied and stuff. Of course that feels bad. Of course you feel unworthy. Definitely. But at the end of the day, and this is the stuff that really just, I want to dig deep into your head. Or, yeah, that's not the right expression. I'm German, by the way, so sometimes my English just isn't great. Thing is this, all the red pill guys will tell you, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to lower your voice because that's more masculine and that will turn on her feminine energy. Like, brother, at the end of the day, all these things, fucking flies from the cows, bro. All these things, your posture, your pitch of voice, your what the words you say, all that kind of stuff, yes, it helps, but mostly it gets you to overthink a lot more. And what she actually wants, and I learned this from David Deida, is she wants to see you free. What I mean by that is, the masculine inside of you will always strive towards freedom, and the feminine inside of her wants to feel loved. And she can only really feel loved by you when you're free. Not just like how all these finance guys on YouTube talk about, like financial freedom and location freedom and time freedom. Freedom in the sense of freedom of mind, freedom of thoughts, freedom of overthinking, freedom from insecurity, freedom from fear. That's what she wants. If you can give her that, if you can be that guy who is completely free, she will feel much more free and much more loved in the end. And again, to do that, detach from the outcome and realize that you've been conditioned your whole life by school, by parents, just like me, to see every single mistake as a bad thing. Right? In school, what was it about? It was just about avoiding mistakes. It wasn't about risking anything. You could never take a risk in school. It was about avoiding mistakes. And your parents have most likely told you the exact same thing. But mistakes, man, and you've heard this a million times, but mistakes are good. The only reason why I am here in this 5.5-year deep, thriving relationship, and not just that, but in my whole life, right? Health-wise, fitness-wise, business-wise, whatever. The reason why I am so far is because from a young age, I made mistakes, and I didn't see them as mistakes. I saw them as lessons to learn from. That's what you need to dig into your head. Again, wrong expression probably, but you get the point. Now, one thing that I want to add here, which is very important, is yes, I was this skinny, insecure chump that was shy and all that stuff, but my girl still fell in love with me and still got together with me in the end, right? And now we have an over 5.5-year relationship. Why did that happen? Because she could sense intuitively the trajectory that my life was going to take and that I was going to take and that I'm still taking, right? She could sense that, oh yeah, he is that person right now, but he's not going to stay that person. He's doing the right things to become that better person, and he's thinking in the right ways. He's adopting the right mindsets, the right paradigms to become someone who he actually wants to become. This is a crucial thing, man. And what I will say here as well is, man, be honest with yourself. Is your relationship right now kind of below your standard? Because you are someone who's growth-minded and who strives for greatness in every single part of his life. And you maybe have achieved a lot of stuff, but with your relationship you just haven't. If that's the case for you, and you want to take your relationship to that next level, where you have that deeper love, that passionate love life, that fulfilling connection with her, not just for yourself, but also for her, for your children or future children, then what you can do is you can book a free discovery call with me so we can figure out whether I can help you. So man, if you don't just want your relationship to maybe survive, but you want it to thrive, you want it to really go deep, you want to have an excellent relationship that fulfills both you and her, then book that call with me right now and I'll see if I can help you. The link for that is in the description. Book that call right now. You have nothing to lose because it's entirely free, and I'll see you in there. See you, man. Have a good one. Bye. I hope you can see the cow. If you can't, well, yeah, that's not good.